Welcome to This Explainer. If you've ever just stared at your bank account and felt like massive financial goals are, well, completely out of reach, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're demystifying the art of saving $10,000. And the best part? Instead of relying on sheer willpower, miserable budgeting diets, or just straight up suffering through the year, we're going to replace all of that with pure, simple math. So, is saving $10,000 this year actually impossible? Look, I completely get it. If your gut reaction right now is just absolutely yes, no way. 10 grand is a massive, intimidating number, especially with everyday expenses constantly piling up on us. But I promise you, following a few specific steps makes this entirely achievable. Yes, even if your savings account is currently sitting at an absolute zero. Stick with me here, because when we get to step 5, you're going to see exactly how this becomes a reality for pretty much anyone. Section 1, shrinking the big number. Okay, let's dive into this. We are going to take this massive goal and break it down into tiny, bite-sized pieces. Let's start with the big one, $10,000. Our brains actually just naturally panic when they see massive figures like this. It's this towering, intimidating lump sum, right? And focusing solely on that peak of the mountain is exactly what causes most people to throw in the towel before they even tie their shoes. If you just stare at this number, you're always going to feel like you're failing or falling behind. It's just way too big to tackle on, say, a random Tuesday morning. So we desperately need to change our perspective to kind of hack our own psychology here. So the very first mental shift is incredibly simple. We take that massive, scary figure and we divide it by the 12 months in a year. Boom. Suddenly, we aren't hunting for 10 grand all at once. We're just looking at a standard monthly target, which completely strips away that initial shock value. Doing that math brings us to $833 a month. Now, okay, that is a lot better, but let's be totally honest with each other. For a lot of us, finding an extra $800 a month, that still feels like a massive stretch. Actually, it's still way too intimidating to handle when you're just trying to manage your normal, everyday bills. We need to shrink this thing down even further to make it feel entirely, effortlessly doable. We gotta take it all the way down to the daily level. And here is the magic number. Divided by 30 days, our target drops to just $28 a day. No way, right? But it's true. When you put it into perspective, $28 is honestly less than what most people spend combining a couple of takeout lunches, a random Amazon order, and maybe an unused streaming subscription. Breaking a massive goal down to a daily target completely shifts it from impossible to totally manageable. It totally bypasses your brain's panic response. Seriously, write it down right now. $28 a day. Section 2, automate and track. Let's talk about the system needed to actually capture that $28. Because here's the thing, waiting until the end of the month to save whatever's quote-unquote leftover is literally the biggest mistake people make. As we all know from painful experience, there is rarely anything left over. And that's because money sitting in a checking account is a total psychological trap. You will always, always find a reason to spend it. The fix here? You absolutely must automate an $833 transfer the exact same day you get paid. Move it straight into a separate, untouched savings account. Or, if your income is irregular, automate 20 to 25% of every payment instead. The whole psychology here relies on outsmarting yourself. It's simple. Money you never see as money you never miss. But hold on, where do you actually find that daily $28 to begin with? Well, you can't fix what you don't measure. So for the next 30 days, I want you to track every single expense. Use a free app or just pull up the Notes app on your phone. Write down every single coffee, parking fee, forgotten subscription, and late-night food delivery. And do it without judgment. The simple act of observing your habits actually changes them. It's a known psychological phenomenon called the observer effect. Most people are absolutely shocked, literally blown away, to uncover $200 to $400 a month in hidden, forgotten spending. Once you see the truth written out right in front of you, finding that $28 a day becomes completely obvious instead of painful. Section 3, the infrastructure. Now, what's really interesting about this next slide is how we set up the physical boundaries required to actually protect your money. We need to protect your hard-earned cash from yourself. Because, let's face it, willpower eventually fades, but a good system? A system never sleeps. You need to split your money into a strict 3-account system to create some much-needed behavioral friction. Account 1, that's for your bills and essentials, rent, utilities, groceries, stuff you access regularly. Account 2 is the holy grail. That's your $10,000 savings goal. This account needs to be locked down tight. No debit card, no easy transfer button on your app. make it hard to get to. Finally, account 3 is your guilt-free spending money, just a small fixed amount for fun, no questions asked. By physically separating your money like this, you eliminate temptation completely. You literally cannot accidentally spend what you've intentionally hidden from yourself. Section 4, the extra income accelerant. Now, let's shift gears a bit, because this right here is the secret ingredient that bridges the gap for almost anyone.
Here is a fundamental truth. Cutting expenses has a limit, but earning has absolutely no limit. Eventually, there is only so much takeout you can skip before you just feel, well, deprived and frustrated. But adding a simple, single extra income stream, that changes the whole equation. Think about it. You could sell some unused items sitting around in your closet, maybe freelance a skill you already have for just a few hours a week. It does not take much to create massive financial leverage.
Just look at how this math compounds over time. If you make just a modest $300 a month from a small side hustle, that explodes into $3,600 over the course of a year. That powers almost half of your entire $10,000 goal on its own. By combining those minor expense cuts we talked about earlier with a really small extra income stream, reaching $10,000 completely stops being a stretch. It just becomes simple math. You're attacking the problem from both sides, which makes that daily $28 target feel almost effortless. Section 5, the mindset. Let's slow things down for a second because we need to talk about the psychological maintenance required to keep this going. Getting the math right is really only half the battle. To sustain this over 12 full months, we need a golden rule for your sanity. And that rule is monthly review is infinitely greater than daily perfection. Please, whatever you do, do not obsessively check your progress every single day. That is a one-way ticket to massive burnout and obsessing over every tiny little purchase you make. Saving 10 grand isn't about being perfectly, flawlessly disciplined for 365 days straight. Instead, just do one simple review at the end of the month. Ask yourself, did I hit my monthly target? If yes, awesome, keep going. If no, actually, no big deal. Just look at what happened, make a little tweak, and move forward with zero guilt. Okay, let's wrap this whole shebang up with a rapid-fire summary of the entire blueprint. Number 1, break that massive goal into a daily number, our magic $28. Number 2, automate your savings the absolute second you get paid to just completely remove temptation. Number 3, track your spending honestly for 30 days to uncover that hidden cash. Number 4, utilize the 3 separate account infrastructure we built. Number 5, add a small extra income stream to really accelerate the math. And number 6, review monthly, not daily. Remember, hitting $10,000 isn't about white-knuckling your way from the year. It's about setting up this exact system and letting it do the heavy lifting for you. Which brings us to our final thought for today, and a pretty big question you have to answer for yourself right now. Will you rely on willpower, or will you build your system? The blueprint is entirely in your hands, the math absolutely checks out, and the infrastructure is ready to go. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Start building that system today. Share this with a friend who's trying to crush their savings goals too, and I will catch you in the next one.